And Bret, you defeated for the WWF Championship and putting a rifle into possibly the greatest in-ring feud of all time. Thank you, and a swig of beer. Jeremy, it would have been interesting to beat Bret Hart for that title. It would have been awesome. But, beating Shawn Michaels, because I consider those two guys, literally at 6-1, half a dozen the others as far as how great each one of them is. But yes, to a point, to your question, I did have a long-standing feud with Bret and some classic matches, and he's one of my favorite opponents. And I worked with Shawn Michaels a lot on the road, and I loved working with Shawn because he's so good. But that's hindsight being 2020. I got the title like I did, and to say if I'd have got it from Bret would be pure speculation, and it didn't go down like that. So there's no sense in even, beating a dead horse or whatever it is. But nonetheless, man, I was happy to beat one of the greatest of all time in Shawn Michaels, and very proud to always be in the ring with the best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be, Bret the Hitman Hart. I appreciate you sending that question in. I wish I could give it a better answer. It's just hard to look back and speculate. Let's shift gears to the work that Shawn Michaels was doing. I consider Shawn to be, I think he's the greatest in-ring performer I've ever seen, just from a standpoint of being mechanically inclined to do everything, present it well, not kill anybody, never botch anything. So I think he's that good. But back in the day, it's funny when you watch pro sports.
Did you work him a lot?
When I first went to WWF, I was a ringmaster. Man, I wrestled Shawn, 3-4 nights a week for, a couple months.
But once you were Stone Cold, though, did you work him much?
No, not as much because, that's when he took time off. But my point is, people, you're talking about for the sake of the high spot. When I thought about Shawn Michaels back in the day, I wouldn't give him any credit. I'd say, high spot artist. Well,
but he wasn't, though.
No, well, I know that's what I'm saying. My point is, as soon as you got in the ring with him, you're like, well, that was the defensive side of me being a competitor and not wanting to put the guy over. But as soon as you lock up with him, it's like, and you go through 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes with him and do it for a couple of months, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is one of the baddest dudes I've ever worked with in my life. And so then you give him the respect after night one. But I wouldn't, because I was stuck on, hey, he's a high spot artist, because he was doing these awesome sequences, but he would also sell as well. So, but it took actually working with him in person for me to reverse my thoughts and think, hey, man, this dude's one of the best of all time.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable athlete. And of course, me and Marty used to be really close as partner. And I've always, as you know, tend to open my mouth and be kind of, say what shouldn't be said, because it's just rude, so it's none of my business. And, me and Shawn were friends, but we got along anyway. And, but me and Marty were good friends. But I asked Shawn one day, I go, you're so freaking talented. How come when it's match and you're super beat up and the guy shoots you off, you don't run the ropes like you're beat up. You run them like you're fresh as a daisy. And he goes, I don't want the boys in the back to think I'm blown up. And I believed it. Yeah, I believe that's what he meant, too. I don't think he was BSing.